Hi everybody.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I was going to take my glasses off.
Go ahead.
Because there's reflection.
Can't see.
No, I can't see a thing. So we were going to talk about, what we're going to talk about today. I was going to, I actually had this...
What's the recipe today?
What's the recipe?
What is that saying from?
What's the recipe today, Jim?
Where does that come from?
No one will know what that means.
But where does it come from?
It was an old disc jockey in London when I was growing up as a kid in the 60s. And my mum used to listen to it, and they would, his name was Jimmy something, not Jimmy Savile.
Thank goodness.
Jimmy Young.
Jimmy Young.
Jimmy
wow.
Young, and he would have this radio show. It was around lunchtime, or just before lunchtime, I think. Or maybe no, I think it might actually be in the morning. Anyway, he would just give there would be a daily recipe, and this little voice would say, "What's the recipe today, Jim?" Anyway, is that of value to our viewers?
Well, it makes sense why I said, "What's the recipe today, Jim?"
All right.
What's the recipe today, Jim?
The recipe today is that this morning I woke up at that ungodly hour of 6:20, which I have to now get up every day at 6:20, having already had a moment earlier in the night where I was awoken by the dog. It was probably around 5. So, I don't know, I've been running on little sleep. But anyway, I've got into this pattern of thinking that I'm getting very little sleep.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I got up at 5:30 to let the dog out.
I know. I put my
And
earphones
you slept through.
I put my earphones in, so I didn't hear anything after that. But I did hear the alarm go off at 6:20, and when the alarm went off at 6:20, I just feel like if there was a sort of a physical representation of the audible groan that I probably emit at that point. I don't even know how to articulate it, but there's just this sort of physical sensation of just complete resistance, of just not wanting to get out of bed. And that's really, and it's quite powerful. And then I find myself saying, "Oh, I feel so tired." And then I get back and I say, "I feel so tired." And I quite often throughout the day, I'm saying, "I feel so tired." And then you, on the other hand, I never hear you say that. Actually, I heard you say it. I heard you mention something around fatigue a little bit earlier today, but I was actually quite surprised that you said that, because you never say that. And so this morning I caught myself saying that, and then I thought, wow, I've created these very strong neural pathways around my thinking in terms of lack of sleep. And it just has become something that's become habitual. And I find myself feeling tired a lot of the time, but I think it's compounded by the fact that I walk around saying, "Oh, I feel so tired." And so I used to always like joke with the kids when they would say something negative. I say, "Your word is your wand." And they throw that back at me now. But I realize that I feel like I've really just created a lot of thinking around the value of sleep, or the lack of sleep is just causing me an egregious amount of harm. So I just thought, well, I should probably stop doing that. Because it's not very helpful.
What's so funny is that you were the one that taught me something huge about sleep, because I would always say when I would get on a plane, "I can't sleep. I can't sleep on the plane." And you said to me, "No, you just keep telling yourself you can't sleep. You know, stop saying that." And when at first I was annoyed, I was bugged, but then we were flying to London and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna see, maybe I can sleep. And I slept the whole, like you always sleep all the way, and I just slept the whole way there.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Oh, that's interesting, because I don't have any problem getting to sleep, but
you have a problem getting up.
I have a problem getting up. I have a problem of being woken up early, and I have to wake up early because I have to take my daughter to school. But anyway,
not my daughter, does your daughter?
Our daughter to school. But I have developed a lot of really kind of negative thinking around that, and then there's a whole vocabulary that comes with it, which basically distills itself down into, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm so tired," just like that. And then then it's sort of like, I know I have this real thing now. I'm kind of thinking about all these neural pathways that I'm developing, and I'd like to have better neural pathways. And, you know, there are times when I don't even have any control of that, but it's actually really valuable for me to at least see that I'm kind of creating my own reality by my thinking. And actually now I have this real sort of visual representation of how these neural pathways develop. And I kind of, it's almost like I'm going down a water slide. You know those tubes that you would go to at the water parks? And I feel like oh, here I go again. I'm going down one of those tubes. Don't know where I'm going to land, but it's probably not going to be anywhere good. Maybe I won't get on that tube this time. And that's kind of that's the best thing I can do at this point, is probably choose, if I'm in a moment of, you know, have a moment of awareness, not to go down that tunnel. Now I'm remembering that time we went to the water park. Do you remember that time we went to the water park?
Can I say something first?
Yes.
I don't remind me of the time, but that piece, I think it's the awareness that's so key, because when we have awareness, of course we're going to choose not to go down the tunnel. And there's times where we just don't have awareness and we're going to go down that tunnel of thinking. But by understanding that nothing good comes from that, we naturally, organically get more and more awareness, and as a result, we don't have to even try to make a choice, we just will choose.
Yeah, and I think that's key, because I was thinking about this earlier, because I think in the past, when I've probably been exposed to, I don't know, whatever positive thinking books I read in my youth, and I say youth, I was probably 30 at the time. Feels like youth now.
Young man.
Young man. When I read those positive thinking books, they would advocate kind of reprogramming yourself, just trying to replace one thought with another, and that really doesn't cut it. The real opportunity here is to actually just see the simple biology of how the mind works, that we create these neural pathways. And that the mind is really neutral and impartial. It will create whatever we'll create whatever we throw its way. So if I'm having particularly negative thoughts about lack of sleep, it's going to create, you know, a neural pathway along those lines, and it will get more and more fortified and easy for me to fall into the more I give it attention. So really, me understanding that just allows me to say, hey, you know what, you know, I've been going down this road for quite some time, and it's not really very helpful. But not even really have any judgment around it either. Just let it, you know, just having the awareness, I think, is enough.
Absolutely. So what was the water slide?
Yeah, so I was remembering when we went to, I can't remember what water park we went to, and I think our daughters were probably, I don't know, 5 and 3, or was it 4 and 2?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I wanted to go on the biggest and the bestest slide at the park, and then we lined up for about an hour to get on this damn thing. And we got to the very top, and then our youngest daughter suddenly got cold feet and didn't want to do it. So I had to go through the walk of shame and walk back down again. But then as I left, you and our eldest daughter were determined to go down the slide. And you got into the dinghy, because this particular slide had a dinghy
it was like a rubber
component
ring,
to it, rubber ring or something. Some sort of inflatable.
Well, as I remember it, we were getting in, and the two of you were supposed to join us, because there was meant to be like a 4-person slide, and at the last minute, our youngest decided not to, so it was just the 2 of us in the ring.
And you were already in it.
We were in, and you were not.
And then the staff, there were 2 kids who were giving everybody the thumbs up whether they could go or not, or holding onto the raft and then letting go. They started getting into this big argument about how many people are allowed to be in the raft at any one time. And there was this guy who I think was saying, yeah, you know, it's fine, they can go down, the 2 of you. And then this woman was really getting angry and saying, no, no, no.
Yeah, she was a rule follower.
She was a rule follower, and they got into this big fight. And in the process of having this fight, they accidentally let go of the raft.
So Kesha and I were like going, and I had been hearing this whole conversation. Kesha hadn't heard the conversation, but I was listening to them. She let us go, and I'm like, what now? Are we going to flip over? What's going to happen?
And then your face, as I just watched you, you got to the point of no return.
It's like, I guess we're going to see what happens.
And then Kesha thought it was the best thing ever, and you apparently were petrified the whole way down. The whole thing was going to flip over.
Yeah.
And she came down looking all gleeful, and you came out like, thank God that's over, and I survived.
I'm surprised you were able to go up that high without getting freaked out.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably was a little bit of concern. But that's another story for another day.
That is. All right. Well, is that it?
Yeah, I think so. That's all I have to say today.
Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.